have it.
Thanks for joining us on the program. I am Dennis Adigunloye. Beginning with financial matters, at Chambers, the Senate has approved the 2018 to 2022 federal government external borrowing plan of $5.8 billion. The funds are to be borrowed from 6 international financial institutions and will be injected into critical sectors including water, power, and health.
The terms and conditions of the loan from funding agencies forwarded to the National Assembly prior to the execution of same for approval and proper documentation.
It's $5,803,000,000 and a grant of $10,000. Those in favor of this recommendation say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
At Wednesday's plenary, the legislators also debated the general principles of the Gender and Equal Opportunities Bill, which seeks to provide a legislative framework for the empowerment of women and gender equity in Nigeria. The bill, sponsored by Senator Biodun Olujimi, is to align all laws relating to the empowerment of women, especially in the areas of appointments and representation of women in decision-making positions and structures. The Gender and Equity Bill will provide for the prohibition of discrimination against women and people living with disabilities, dislodge stereotypes against women and encourage them to aspire to achieve their full potentials.
To prevent discrimination and provide for the rights of men and women.
To ensure that Nigerian women are given equal opportunity.
Women have been at the receiving end of being excluded or even suffer denial of rights and liberties.
This aspect of it, by equating opportunities, actually infringes with the provisions of the Quran, of which I am a Muslim, and also the Bible.
If the topic of equity was okay, but equality is no.
The Nigerian women folk, they're looking up to us. Our daughters, our wives.
Please, if there is anything that we pointed out of serious concern to our colleagues, let's find an accommodation so that when we come back, we should be able to pass the bill.
The bill witnessed divergent opinions among senators and was eventually stepped down for further consultations.
Let's start off with plenary yesterday on the Gender and Equality Bill. It's been in the Senate for some years now, and I understand it's now the third time it's been rejected by the Senate. Just give us your reasoning why this bill is so hard to pass through the legislature.
Well, thank you very much. In my own opinion, the bill seems to be more of sentiments than addressing the reality of gender opportunities. That is one. Two, before we see the aspects of the bill, because I can't remember what happened, many years back, maybe 3-4 years ago. What I said was equality in opportunities is not what we object to, but we should have something that is consistent with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and is also consistent with our beliefs, both Christianity and Islam. But until we have the full brief of the bill, we cannot be able to say exactly, which direction we will take. But in the meantime, it's caution. They say you better, caution on the side of, what do you call it in law, so that, you don't go and make, the greater mistake. So, but it is a socio-cultural thing that she wants to address. And if you want to address the socio-cultural thing, including religion, because religion is socio-cultural, so you must make things very, very clear that this socio-cultural issue that we are going to address is not impinging on religious belief, neither impinging on the provisions of the Constitution. So basically that is it. That is why the Senate in its own wisdom decided to say, okay, step this thing down, discuss with the people who have some kind of reservations about your bill, and then let us have the copy of the draft bill so that we can be on the same page. So I think that is where we are now. So we wait for the draft bill to come, then probably we can have a repeat of interview on the issue.
And here now are some key moments in plenary during the week, including the amendment of Senate standing rules to provide for items previously not contained in the current version. The Senate quorum on Inauguration Day will henceforth be a simple majority of senators elect and no more of the two-thirds majority.
I have the honor to forward for confirmation by the Senate the nomination of Muazu Jaji Sambo from Taraba State as Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Copy of his CV is attached herewith. It is my hope that this submission will receive the usual expeditious consideration of the Senate.
Last amended in 2015 to accommodate issues that will make sure others dynamic to facilitate effective legislative process.
As far as I know, from 2007 when I came into this chamber, as a member of this chamber, this is the first time that the Senate will amend its standard rules in plenary, and a huge sort of exercise to introduce and sustain efficiency in the operations of the Senate.
Outside of plenary, the Senate Committee on Appropriations has assured of its readiness to support the Independent National Electoral Commission and the National Population Commission to deliver on their statutory mandates next year. This was when the committee had interactions with the two commissions.
From when we made that presentation with the breakdown of our requirement to now, the amount of changes we've had. But we knew that we were going to come to you for supplementation because that was grossly inadequate.
Whatever you can do in your capacity and the committee as a group, we need to do that to ensure that we have this population exercise done. If we are able to know how many we are in this nation, we'll be able to plan our resources very creditably well.
I want to create a situation where certain aspects of funding to these are very, very important exercises that are going to take place next year and indeed 2023. We don't want to have anything that will impede them.
In a paper titled The Legislature, Legislative Mandate and the People, the Reality and the Public Perception, Senate President Ahmed Lawan spoke of the legislature being the most accessible to the people, but despite this, does not enjoy a positive image among Nigerians. This was while delivering the maiden parliamentarians lecture at an interaction on the much misunderstood arm of government organized by the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, NILDS.
I hope that it will present an opportunity to the legislature to remind itself of its mandate and the exercise thereof to all Nigerians, so as to avoid the frictions always associated with some interpretation.
The critical role of National Assembly requires that people who are involved do not just remain on hearsay. They are supposed to be knowledgeable enough .
More to this, however, sometimes the negative perception of the legislature can be attributed to a lack of knowledge and understanding of the role of the legislature and how it contributes to democratic governance. On other occasions, the misperception is due to a lack of sufficient information on the part of the public.
The lecture series is in furtherance of the shared commitment of the 9th National Assembly and the Institute to expand the civic space and enlarge the marketplace of ideas.
Such an engagement, undertaken at regular intervals, is critical to improving legislative opponents and in the process encourage citizens' participation and dialogue.
Let us take advantage of this lecture and understand what the National Assembly stands for. You don't have to agree with everything he has said, but please fault him on facts and not an emotion.
As chairman of Rules and Building, I used to publish a notice paper. The essence of the order paper is to notify senators and members of the bills that are likely coming the following day or 2 days or in the next week. And the essence is for you to use yourself and your legislative aides, your senior legislative aides and your legal advisors to prepare arguments for and against that bill and that measure. And when you come to the floor, you will oppose the bill or support the bill on the basis of the law. But when you rarely see that on the floor of the legislature these days. You rarely have heard any argument on any law being passed or being considered that a senator or a legislator makes reference to any section of the law. It is literature. I apologize. I really apologize. So these are the kind of things that makes persons on outside think that it is an ordinary thing. That is not an intellectual legislative thing, that you don't need to be specially endowed to enable you be there. So that's like the kind of turnover. If you display legislative skills, advocacy, law, you come in with your books, you come in with your iPad, you come in with your e-law report, make reference to laws. Make reference to judgments of the Court of Appeal and Supreme Court in any argument on the floor. I used to do that. I come with the hard copies and send with the soft copies of judgments of the court. Like when I dealt on the question of that if you defect from a political party that elected you, you lose your seat because you are not an independent candidate and you don't occupy that seat. It is the seat of your political party. And I was able to get the judgment of Justice Chukwu, which was delivered 48 hours earlier. I took the trouble of going to the Federal High Court to get that judgment, and I used that to address the floor of the Senate, the judgment, and I quoted the particular judgment submissions of the judge and how he arrived at that. And thank God, His Excellency David Mark, the Senate President, gave me great opportunities to that. No, these are the kind of things that shows that's what should be, because you are a lawmaker. You are not in a debating society. A lawmaking process is a process where you are making laws, either to say yes or no, or this law should exist, or this law you want to bring has already existed. This is the law. This is the title of the law. Or what you want to provide is already in an existing law. This is that law, and this is where it is, and we don't need to make that law, or we need to amend it in that law, or we don't need an originating law. So these are the kind of things that will make members of the public appreciate that this is a quasi-professional assignment.
Now, as the year draws to a close, it has certainly been an eventful year for the 9th Senate, with various milestone achievements recorded. Let's now get the perspectives of some legislators on these and other major issues.
Well, I think, you know, with modesty we have achieved a lot. We have passed, you know, the PIB, which is one of the contentious and then bill. And we also passed, you know, the INEC, the INEC bill, which is, you know, is before Mr. President. So, and then we have done, you know, a lot in terms of our oversighting of our MDS. We have done, you know, I cannot remember how many bills now, but I know we have done a lot of bills. We have passed, you know, a lot of resolutions, you know, from our own, you know, motions, and then, you know, we have established, you know, a more meaningful relationship, you know, between, you know, the National Assembly, you know, under, you know, the leadership of Senator Amela, and the executive side of government. So to that aspect, you know, if you observe, we have less friction, although some people say it's rubber stamping, but nobody, you know, is expecting us to come and fight the executive, but we have come because we have done a lot of, you know, behind the door relationship with both, you know, the presidency and also, you know, the agencies of government. So even the stability of the Senate, you know, in the last 1 year, you know, is worthy of emulation any time. And what else would I say? We have achieved what is expected for us to achieve. We are about to pass the 2022 budget, which I believe we should be able to do it before the end of the year, you know, so that Mr. President, you know, can look at it and also sign it, and then, you know, it takes off. So within the period, we have done meaningfully well.
And lastly, as we enter the festive season and approaching the new year, what's your words of encouragement and advice to Nigerians?
Well, challenges. Well, thank you very much. My advice to Nigeria is to continue to persevere, is to continue to believe in this country. It is our own country, and we have no other country to go to, you know, and to also believe in the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, and also in the government, you know, under President Muhammadu Buhari. Nigeria should take responsibility, the corporate Nigeria, as citizens of this country, to take responsibility for whatever is happening, and it's just, you know, the elected people, and not just President Muhammadu Buhari. Whatever is happening in the state, and the oath of office that President has taken is the oath of office that every governor has taken in this country, and is also, most of them are oath of office that all the appointees, are also taking. So for us to say, well, these things are happening because such and such a thing, is as a result of either not addressing the challenges. I think we should look at it once again. We should be our brothers' keepers. We should understand that what is happening in each state of the federation is as a result of weakness in citizenship and not weakness in government only. So the citizenship should also stand up to occasion and then work with government so that we can solve all these problems. And I want to encourage the governments of Nigeria to work in terms of what I call cooperative federalism and consultative federalism. A governor should consult with federal government, it should cooperate with federal government. It has also security votes, so for it to say that it is relying on federal government because federal government owns police and military and they will sit down, the governors will not do anything, I think is begging the question. So I believe Nigerians should work with various governments at various levels to handle the affairs of this country as if we are brothers keepers. We don't do that, we have a lot of issues. The local government, management in this country, in my own opinion, is a failure. That is why we have all these issues surrounding insecurity and even, a political challenge, so political instability. People ought to differentiate between political instability and, security challenges or insecurity in this country. So my own take again is to appeal to Nigerians to look inward, to go with the motto of our APC, that is change begins with me. So because if each and every one of us, decide not to be corrupt, we will not be corrupt. If we decide to expose, our people who create insecurity in us, we will expose them and they will be known. So, and if we decide, to operate, our commercial, activities in such a way that is not fraudulent, or also we'll have everything right. So I will wish, Nigerians well. I will wish us, Merry Christmas, and a happy and prosperous 2022.
Amen. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
Well, for those of us who are Christians, the whole concept of Christianity revolves around Christ, Jesus Christ. And it is believed that it is the coming of Christ that has served the word or given the word the opportunity to be served. And so his birth is celebrated by all Christians around the world. 25th of December has been isolated as the day that Christ came into the world, was born. And so, in a nutshell, Christmas is celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ. And like I said, it's very significant because if Christ had not come, Christians believe that there will be no salvation. And so the death is celebrated, but more importantly, it is the coming that is celebrated more. They are equally important, but it looks like the celebration is on Christmas because that is when the process of salvation started. And so Christians all over the world, at least in most parts of the world, I know that in a few places they isolate a different date for Christmas. I understand. I'm not too sure where, but I understand in a few places. But generally, across the globe, it is December 25th that is isolated as a Christmas, which is celebration of Jesus Christ's birthday. Now we have everybody remembers their birthday in this age. And so if we are remembering or celebrating our birthday, what more the man that came to serve the word? We should. So that's in essence, that is what Christmas is all about. In this age that we have divisions along religious lines, I want to use this opportunity to preach healing as we celebrate Christmas. Incidentally, even Muslims recognize that there was somebody, a prophet called Jesus Christ. I think the emphasis is from Christians that he's this, but even in Quran, I understand Jesus Christ is mentioned as one of the great prophets. And so, instead of emphasizing what divides us, Christianity should be used to emphasize what unites us, because there's no religion that preaches violence. There's no religion that says it is ideal to kill another human being. It is the extremists who have started to bring interpretations that give the impression that if you kill, it's okay. It's not okay at all. So as we celebrate Christmas, we should use the opportunity to emphasize those things that bound us, that unite us as a nation. It is critically important. We are going through a very challenging period of insecurity nationally. And unfortunately, some people hide under religion to execute their criminality. It is not right. I wish all Christians happy celebration.
Well, that concludes Senate 109 for this week. Thanks for watching. I am Dennis at Digunloy. See you again soon.